The rain isn't falling, it's attacking. Caprice Montes presses her body against the cold brick wall of the alleyway, her arms wrapped protectively around two small forms huddled beneath her soaked jacket. Eva and Ava, 4 years old, identical twins with her dark curls and eyes that hold far too much fear for children so young. "Mama, I'm cold," Eva whimpers, her voice barely audible over the downpour. "Shh, baby, just a little longer," Caprice whispers, though she has no idea if that's true. Her own teeth are chattering so violently she can barely form words. The thin cotton dress she's wearing, the one she threw on in their frantic escape, is plastered to her skin, offering zero protection against the Chicago autumn storm. They've been running for 6 hours. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special for you. 6 hours since she discovered the photos on Marcus's phone. 6 hours since she saw the evidence that her ex-husband, the man she'd fought so hard to divorce, the man who'd made her life hell for 3 years, wasn't just abusive. He was trafficking children, young girls with faces that could have been Eva's or Ava's in another timeline, another nightmare. 6 hours since Marcus came home early and caught her photographing the evidence with her own phone. 6 hours since she'd grabbed her daughters and run, barefoot, into the Chicago streets with nothing but the clothes on their backs and a phone she'd already uploaded everything to a cloud account Marcus didn't know existed. Caprice is a kindergarten teacher. She teaches finger painting and the alphabet song. She reads picture books about friendship and helps tie shoelaces. She doesn't know how to outrun a criminal network. She doesn't know how to disappear. But she knows how to protect her children. That's the only skill that matters right now. "Mama, is Daddy coming?" Ava asks, her small hand clutching Caprice's soaked dress. The word Daddy makes Caprice's stomach turn. Marcus stopped being their father the moment he raised his fist to her the first time. He stopped being human the moment he started selling children. "No, baby. Daddy's not coming. We're safe now." Caprice lies, because what else can she say? "Yes, sweetie. Your father is a monster, and he's hunting us right now with every corrupt cop and street thug he controls. They're not safe. They won't be safe until she can get to the FBI field office downtown, until she can hand over the evidence and beg for witness protection. But the field office is 12 blocks away, and she has 2 exhausted 4-year-olds who can barely walk anymore. The shelter 3 blocks back had been full. The 24-hour diner refused to let them stay without ordering food she couldn't afford. Her debit card was in her purse back at Marcus's penthouse, along with her ID, her keys, everything that proved she existed. She has nothing. She is nothing. Just a terrified mother with 2 babies and a phone full of evidence that could destroy a trafficking ring if she lives long enough to deliver it. "Look, Mama, a big car." Eva points toward the mouth of the alley. Caprice's heart stops. A vehicle is idling at the curb just beyond the alley's entrance. Not Marcus's silver Escalade, she'd recognize that predator anywhere. This is something else entirely. A midnight black limousine, sleek and enormous. Its windows tinted so dark they look like portals into nothing. The engine is running. Exhaust puffs into the rain-soaked air, white and ghostly. Caprice's mind races through possibilities. It's a private car, waiting for someone wealthy, someone important, someone who won't notice 3 desperate people climbing inside for just a few minutes of warmth. It's stealing, it's trespassing, it's insane, but Eva's lips are turning blue. Ava's shivering has progressed to violent convulsions. Caprice herself can no longer feel her toes. They will die out here if she doesn't act. "Girls," Caprice whispers urgently, crouching down to their eye level. Rain streams down her face, mingling with tears she didn't know she was crying. "We're going to play a game, okay? A very quiet game." "Like hide and seek?" Ava asks, her voice hopeful. "Exactly like hide and seek. We're going to hide in that big car for just a little while, until we get warm. But you have to be absolutely silent. Can you do that for Mama?" Both girls nod solemnly. They've learned obedience the hard way, watching their mother navigate Marcus's explosive temper for years. They know when to be quiet. They know when to disappear. Caprice hates that they know these things. She takes each twin by the hand and moves quickly toward the limousine, her bare feet silent on the wet pavement. Her heart is hammering so hard she can feel it in her throat. She expects alarms, shouts, the click of a gun being cocked. Nothing happens. She reaches the rear passenger door and tries the handle. It opens. "Thank you," she mouths to whatever god might be listening. The interior of the limousine is a revelation. Soft leather seats the color of expensive cognac, ambient lighting that glows a warm amber, the scent of cedar and something darker, richer, aged wood and power. Most importantly, heat. Glorious, life-saving heat pouring from hidden vents. Inside, quickly, Caprice urges, helping Eva and Ava scramble onto the floor of the back passenger area. It's spacious enough that all three of them can huddle in the footwell behind the driver's partition, hidden from immediate view. Caprice pulls the door shut as quietly as possible. The sound of the rain immediately softens to a gentle drumming on the roof. The warmth envelops them like an embrace. Eva and Ava curl against her, their small bodies trembling. Caprice wraps her arms around them, pulling them close, trying to transfer whatever body heat she has left. "Just a few minutes," she whispers against their wet hair. "Just until you're warm. Then we'll go." But even as she says it, exhaustion crashes over her like a wave. 6 hours of running, 6 hours of terror. The adrenaline that's been keeping her upright suddenly evaporates, leaving behind a bone-deep weariness that feels like drowning. Her eyes drift closed. "Just a few minutes," she tells herself. The twins' breathing gradually evens out, their shivering subsiding. The warmth and the steady hum of the engine create a cocoon of safety that's entirely illusory but desperately needed. Caprice doesn't hear the driver's door open. She doesn't hear the car begin to move. She doesn't hear anything at all except the soft, precious sound of her daughter's breathing, alive and warm and safe. For now, waking up is violent. Caprice's eyes snap open to darkness and motion. The car has been moving for how long? The steady vibration of tires on pavement thrums through her body. Panic explodes in her chest. No. She shifts carefully, trying not to wake the twins who are still pressed against her, dead weight with exhaustion. Through the tinted windows, she can see streetlights streaking past. They're not in the city anymore. The buildings have given way to wider streets, fewer lights. Suburbs? Highway? How far have they traveled? Caprice's phone. She needs to check the time, see if she can figure out where they are. She shifts carefully, reaching for the phone in her dress pocket. The partition between the passenger area and the driver begins to lower. Caprice freezes. Her arms instinctively tighten around Eva and Ava, pulling them deeper into the footwell, as if she can make them invisible through sheer will. The partition slides down with a whisper of expensive mechanics. Light from the front cabin spills into the back, and Caprice finds herself staring at the back of a driver's head. Dark hair, impeccably styled, broad shoulders in a charcoal suit jacket that probably costs more than her monthly rent used to. Then he adjusts the rearview mirror. Their eyes meet in the reflection. Caprice stops breathing. The man driving isn't a chauffeur. His face is too sharp, too commanding. High cheekbones, a jaw that looks carved from granite. His eyes are dark, not brown, but almost black, like pools of ink. They're cold, assessing, the eyes of someone who's seen things that would break most people. He's perhaps 35, maybe 40, devastatingly handsome in the way that dangerous things often are. A straight blade, a cobra, a perfectly engineered weapon. "You're awake," he says. His voice is deep, resonant, with the kind of authority that doesn't need to be loud to command attention. Caprice's mouth is desert dry. I can explain. You broke into my car. It's not a question, not an accusation, just a statement of fact. The door was unlocked, Caprice says, and immediately hates herself for how defensive she sounds. "I'm sorry. We needed to get warm for a few minutes. I was going to leave as soon as—" "You've been in my car for 40 minutes, the man interrupts. "We're currently on Interstate 90, heading west." "Still think you were going to leave in a few minutes?" 40 minutes. Oh God, they're miles from the city. Miles from the FBI office. Miles from any help. "Please," Caprice whispers, and she hates the desperation in her voice but can't stop it. "Please just let us out. Anywhere. I won't tell anyone. I'll just take my daughters and go. Please." In the reflection, she sees his eyes flicker down, noticing for the first time that she's not alone, that there are 2 small bundles pressed against her in the footwell. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "How old?" he asks. "What?" "Your daughters. How old are they?" Caprice doesn't want to answer, doesn't want to give this stranger any information about her babies, but something in his tone makes her respond anyway. 4. A long silence stretches out. The car continues its steady progress down the highway. Rain continues to assault the windows. "You're soaked," the man observes. "All 3 of you, barefoot, no coats." His eyes meet hers again in the mirror. "Running from someone?" Caprice swallows hard. "That's none of your business." "It became my business when you climbed into my car," he says flatly. "So I'll ask again. And this time I want the truth. Who are you running from? Every instinct screams at Caprice not to answer. Don't give him ammunition. Don't make yourself more vulnerable than you already are. But then Ava shifts against her, whimpering softly in her sleep, and Caprice thinks about Marcus's network, about how far his reach extends, about the photos on her phone and what will happen if she doesn't get them to the authorities. My ex-husband, she finally says, Marcus Delgado. The name hangs in the air. In the rearview mirror, she sees something flicker across the man's face. Recognition? Surprise? It's gone too quickly to identify. Delgado, he repeats slowly. Marcus Delgado. Import-export businessman. Real estate developer. Philanthropist. The last word drips with sarcasm. You know him, Caprice says, her blood running cold. I know of him. The distinction feels important, and I know his reputation, which means I know what kind of man he is. His eyes fix on hers in the mirror again. What did you do that made you run? I found something I wasn't supposed to find. Such as? Caprice hesitates. This stranger could be anyone. One of Marcus's associates. A rival. Someone who'd sell her back to her ex-husband for the right price. But he could also be her only chance. Evidence, she says carefully, of his real business. The one that has nothing to do with real estate. And this evidence, you have it with you? Caprice's hand instinctively goes to her phone in her pocket. The movement is subtle, but the man's eyes catch it immediately. He sees everything, notes everything. I see, he says quietly. The car begins to slow. Caprice's panic spikes. Is he pulling over? Is he going to throw them out on the side of the highway? Or worse, is he calling Marcus right now? But they don't stop. The car takes an exit, smooth and controlled, merging onto a smaller road that cuts through an area of sprawling estates and manicured hedges. Where are you taking us? Caprice demands, trying to keep the tremor out of her voice. Somewhere safe. I don't know you. How do I know anywhere you take us is safe? In the mirror, the corner of his mouth lifts not quite a smile, but something close to grim amusement. You don't. But you're in my car, heading away from the city, with 2 children and no resources. Your options are limited. You can trust me, or you can get out and take your chances on the street. He's right, and Caprice hates that he's right. Who are you? She whispers. Leonardo Moore. The name means nothing to her. Should it? And what do you do, Mr. Moore? This time he does smile. It's not a kind expression. I solve problems, Miss Montes. Caprice Montes. Miss Montes. I solve problems that other people can't. And right now, you have a very significant problem. Marcus Delgado is a dangerous man with dangerous connections. If he's hunting you, you need protection of a particular kind. The kind that operates outside normal channels. Understanding dawns slowly, cold and certain. You're a criminal, Caprice says. I prefer independent contractor, Leonardo replies smoothly. But yes, if you want to be crude about it, I operate outside the law, which is precisely what makes me useful to you right now. The car pulls through an ornate iron gate that opens automatically. They're on a private drive now, winding through perfectly maintained grounds toward a house. No, a mansion. 3 stories of stone and glass and old money, lit from within like a jewel box. Caprice has never seen anything like it. I can't pay you, she says desperately. I have nothing. No money, no. You have something far more valuable than money, Leonardo interrupts, pulling the car smoothly to a stop beneath a covered portico. He turns in his seat to face her directly for the first time. Up close, he's even more striking. Sharp features softened slightly by full lips, those dark eyes that seem to see straight through her. A small scar at his temple, barely visible, evidence of a violent past. You have information about Marcus Delgado's operation, Leonardo continues. That's a commodity I can use. So here's my offer, Miss Montes. You and your daughters stay here, under my protection. In exchange, you tell me everything you know about Delgado, everything you found, everything that made you run, and then we decide how to proceed. We? Caprice echoes. You need protection. I need intelligence. That makes us temporary partners. He reaches for the door handle. Now, let's get you and those children inside before they catch hypothermia. We can negotiate the details once everyone is warm, dry, and fed. He steps out of the car, and cold air rushes in before he closes the door with a solid, expensive thunk. Caprice looks down at Eva and Ava, still sleeping against her. They're safe. For now. But she's just made a deal with a devil she doesn't know, in exchange for protection from a monster she does. She has no choice. She's had no choice since the moment she saw those photos. The passenger door opens. Leonardo stands there, rain misting around him, one hand extended, not demanding, offering. "Come," he says simply. Caprice takes his hand. His grip is warm, steady, strong. He helps her out of the car, and when Eva and Ava stir, confused and frightened by the unfamiliar surroundings, he doesn't reach for them. He simply steps back, giving them space, letting Caprice gather her daughters herself. "Mama," Eva whispers, rubbing her eyes. "Where are we?" "Somewhere safe, baby," Caprice tells her, praying it's true. Leonardo leads them not to the grand front entrance but to a side door, less ostentatious. Inside, the warmth hits like a wall. Soft lighting, hardwood floors that gleam, the scent of something cooking real food, not the fast food smell that permeated Marcus's penthouse. A woman appears from a doorway, older, maybe 60, with silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. She takes one look at Caprice, and the twins soaked, shivering, barefoot, and her expression softens immediately. "Dio mio," she murmurs. "Leonardo, what have you brought home?" "Temporary guests, Rosa," Leonardo says. "They need dry clothes, hot food, and a room. Can you handle it?" "Of course." Rosa's eyes are kind as she looks at Caprice. "Come, dear. Let's get you and your little ones taken care of." Caprice hesitates, looking back at Leonardo. "Where will you be?" "Making some calls," he says. "Securing the perimeter. Making sure Marcus Delgado doesn't find you before morning." His dark eyes bore into hers. "You're safe here, miss." "Montes, I protect what's mine. And for now, you're mine to protect." The possessiveness in those words should frighten her. Instead, for the first time in 6 hours, Caprice feels something that might be relief. The hot shower is a revelation bordering on religious experience. Caprice stands under the rainfall showerhead in the guest bathroom, a space larger than her entire bedroom at Marcus's penthouse, and watches the grime and fear wash down the Italian marble drain. The water pressure is perfect, the temperature divine. There are 12 different bottles of expensive products lined up on the built-in shelf, and she doesn't recognize a single brand. This is a bathroom for someone who has never worried about money. Never worried about anything except which luxury to indulge in next. She scrubs her skin until it's pink and raw, trying to wash away the feeling of Marcus's hands, his rage, his control. Trying to wash away the 6 hours of terror. It doesn't work. The fear has sunk too deep, settled into her bones like radiation. But at least she's clean. In the bedroom beyond, she can hear Rosa's gentle voice talking to Eva and Ava. The housekeeper has already drawn a bath for the twins separate from Caprice's shower, in an adjacent bathroom that connects to what Rosa called the nursery suite. As if this house regularly hosts children. As if Leonardo Moore is the kind of man who maintains a space for 4-year-olds. Caprice doesn't know what to make of that. She turns off the water and steps onto a heated floors, wrapping herself in a towel so plush it feels like being embraced by a cloud. On the counter, Rosa has left clothing. Soft gray leggings, a cashmere sweater in deep burgundy, undergarments still in their packaging, and a pair of leather slippers that look expensive and comfortable in equal measure. Everything fits perfectly. Too perfectly. Caprice stares at herself in the mirror. Her dark curls hang in wet ropes around her face. Her brown eyes look too large, shadowed with exhaustion and fear. She's 28 years old and feels ancient. 3 years of marriage to Marcus aged her. Tonight might have broken her entirely if not for the 2 little girls in the next room who need her to stay standing. She dresses quickly and emerges to find the bedroom transformed into something from a children's storybook. Eva and Ava, now clean and dressed in matching pink pajamas that absolutely did not exist in this house an hour ago, are sitting on the massive king-sized bed surrounded by pillows. Rosa is setting up a tray table with plates of food that make Caprice's mouth water. Grilled cheese sandwiches cut into triangles, tomato soup in delicate bowls, apple slices arranged like flowers, and warm chocolate chip cookies that smell like heaven. "Mama!" Ava scrambles off the bed and runs to her, wrapping small arms around Caprice's legs. "Look, there's food! And the nice lady gave us teddy bears." Sure enough, 2 plush bears sit on the bed, one with a pink ribbon, one with purple. "Rosa, this is," Caprice's voice catches. "This is too much. You didn't have to." "Hush," Rosa says firmly but kindly. "Children need comfort, especially frightened children." Her eyes meet Caprice's with knowing sympathy. "You eat too." I'll bring your tray in a moment. I should talk to Mr. Moore first, he said. He said you need food and rest. Everything else can wait until morning. Rosa places a weathered hand on Caprice's arm. I've worked for Leonardo for 15 years, dear. I know when he brings home strays. Strays? The word stings. Rosa's expression softens. I don't mean it cruelly, but Leonardo. He has a particular weakness for those who need protection. Especially women. Especially children. She glances at the twins, who are already demolishing the grilled cheese sandwiches. He'll keep you safe. Whatever you're running from, it won't reach you here. How can you be sure? Because Leonardo Moore doesn't make promises he can't keep. And he doesn't protect halfway. Rosa heads toward the door, then pauses. One more thing. Don't mistake his control for coldness. There's a reason he brought you here instead of dropping you at a police station. He saw something in you or in your situation worth protecting. That means something. She leaves before Caprice can ask what, exactly, it means. Caprice joins her daughters on the bed, and they eat in comfortable silence. Eva and Ava are animated now that they're warm and safe, chattering about the big house and the nice bears, and the bathroom that has a tub big enough for swimming, Mama. But Caprice's mind is elsewhere. On the man downstairs, on the deal she's made, on what it will cost. Protection always has a price. By the time the plates are empty and the twins are yawning, it's past midnight. Caprice tucks them into the enormous bed, pulling the duvet up to their chins, smoothing their damp curls. Mama, are we staying here? Eva asks, her voice small and uncertain. For a little while, baby. Is Daddy going to find us? The question hits like a fist to the sternum. Caprice forces her expression to remain calm, reassuring. No, baby. Daddy doesn't know where we are. And the man who owns this house, Mr. Moore, he's going to make sure we stay safe. Is he nice? Ava whispers. Caprice thinks about Leonardo's cold eyes, his controlled movements, the subtle menace that clings to him like cologne. I think he's complicated, but I think he'll keep his word. It's the most honest answer she can give. She sits with them until they drift off, their breathing evening out into the soft rhythm of sleep. Then she carefully extricates herself and stands, looking down at her daughters. They're safe. For now. That's all that matters. A soft knock at the door makes her turn. Rosa cracks it open. Leonardo wants to see you. In his office. Whenever you're ready. The twins. I'll stay with them, Rosa assures her. They won't wake alone. Caprice nods, swallowing against the sudden tightness in her throat. Time to pay for their sanctuary. Leonardo Moore's office is exactly what she expects. Dark wood, leather furniture, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves filled with first editions and legal tomes. What she doesn't expect is the wall of monitors displaying security feeds from what must be every angle of the property. Or the weapons case, glass-fronted and carefully locked, displaying an array of firearms that would make a military contractor jealous. This isn't just a home office, it's a command center. Leonardo sits behind a massive mahogany desk, his jacket removed, shirt sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms corded with muscle. He's on the phone, speaking in rapid Italian, his voice low and intense. When he sees her, he holds up one finger wait and continues the conversation. Caprice takes the opportunity to study him more carefully. There's a precision to everything he does, from the way he holds the phone to the way his pen moves across the notepad in front of him. He's left-handed. His watch is a Patek Philippe that probably costs more than her annual teaching salary. There's a framed photograph on his desk, turned away from her view, but she catches a glimpse of a woman's smile. Wife? Sister? Dead, judging by his wedding ring finger bare. He ends the call and sets the phone down with deliberate care. Sit. It's not a request. Caprice sits in one of the leather chairs facing the desk, clasping her hands in her lap to keep them from shaking. Your ex-husband has mobilized, Leonardo says without preamble. 6 different search teams combing the south side. He's checking shelters, hospitals, transit stations. He's also put out word to his network a substantial reward for information leading to your location. Caprice's blood turns to ice. How do you know this? Because I have people who monitor Marcus Delgado's activities. Have for years. Leonardo leans back in his chair, steepling his fingers. He's a trafficker, a particularly vicious one. His operation moves approximately 30 to 40 victims per month through Chicago, primarily young women and girls bound for domestic servitude or worse. The clinical way he describes it makes Caprice's stomach turn. You've known what he is, and you haven't stopped him? I'm not law enforcement, Miss Montes. I'm a businessman. Marcus and I operate in overlapping spheres. But we have an understanding. He doesn't interfere in my operations. I don't interfere in his. Caprice stops herself. She was about to say monstrous, but she's sitting in this man's house, accepting his protection. She has no moral high ground left. So why help me? Because you have something I can use. Leonardo opens a drawer and pulls out a tablet, sliding it across the desk toward her. Show me what you found. Everything. Caprice's hand goes to her phone automatically. It's still in her pocket, somehow surviving the rain and the chaos. She pulls it out and unlocks it with shaking fingers. I need to know if I show you this. What happens to Marcus? That depends on what you show me. That's not an answer. Leonardo's expression doesn't change. Miss Montes, you broke into my car with 2 small children to escape your ex-husband. That tells me you're desperate and resourceful. It also tells me you don't have many options. So here's the truth. I will use whatever information you give me in whatever way benefits my organization most. That might mean exposing Marcus to law enforcement. It might mean using the information for leverage. It might mean eliminating him as competition. The casual way he says, eliminating, makes Caprice's blood run cold. I want him arrested, she says firmly. Not killed. Arrested. Tried. Convicted. I want him in prison where he belongs. Noble, Leonardo observes, but impractical. Marcus has connections throughout the Chicago Police Department and the state's attorney's office. Any evidence you turn over will be buried before it reaches trial. The FBI, also compromised. Not entirely, but enough that your evidence would take months to work through proper channels. Months during which Marcus would be hunting you. Months during which your daughters would be at risk. He leans forward. I can move faster than the federal government, Miss Montes. I can apply pressure in ways they cannot. But I need to see what you have first. Caprice's hands are shaking as she navigates to her cloud storage. She pulls up the folder, the one she created in Marcus's home office while he was out, downloading everything she could find before he returned. She turns the phone to face Leonardo. His expression doesn't change as he scrolls through the images. Spreadsheets detailing transactions, women and girls listed by age, country of origin, physical characteristics, photographs of shipping containers modified to transport human cargo, email chains discussing routes, prices, buyers, bank account numbers, names, addresses. It's comprehensive, damning, irrefutable. How long were you married to him? Leonardo asks, still scrolling. 3 years. And you didn't know? I suspected something was wrong. The late nights, the unexplained money, the way he'd get calls he couldn't take in front of me. But I thought, her voice breaks, I thought maybe drugs, or money laundering. Not this, never this. Leonardo looks up, his dark eyes unreadable. What made you look? He hit me, Caprice says flatly. 2 weeks ago, in front of Eva and Ava. They were crying and I was trying to calm them down, and he just... That's when I knew I had to leave. But I needed leverage. I needed something to keep him from coming after us. So I waited until he was out, and I went through his office. I found all of this, and he caught you. Not right away. I was already planning to leave, had a bag packed, was going to take the girls to my sister's in Minneapolis, but he came home early today, saw me on his computer. He knew immediately what I'd done. Leonardo sets the phone down carefully. Did he hurt you? Today, I mean. The question surprises her. There's something different in his tone, still controlled, but with an edge of something darker underneath. He tried, Caprice admits. I fought back, scratched his face. It gave me enough time to grab the girls and run. Leonardo is quiet for a long moment, studying her with an intensity that makes her want to squirm. Finally, he picks up the phone again, scrolling back through the images with focused precision. This is excellent intelligence, he says. Detailed, documented, corroborated. With this, I can destroy Marcus Delgado's entire operation. Not just his trafficking network, his legitimate businesses, his political connections, his financial infrastructure, everything. And me? Caprice whispers. What happens to me and my daughters? You stay here, under my protection, for as long as it takes. How long is that? Weeks, maybe months. Depends on how quickly Marcus can be neutralized and how deeply you need to disappear afterward. Months, living in this house, under this man's control, out of the frying pan, into the fire. But at least this fire promises to keep Marcus at bay. What's the catch? Caprice asks. What do I have to do in exchange? There's always a catch. Leonardo regards her steadily. The catch is that you follow my rules. You don't leave the property without my permission and my security detail. You don't contact anyone from your old life friends, family, colleagues. You don't make phone calls I don't approve. You don't use social media. For all intents and purposes, Caprice Montes and her daughters cease to exist until I say otherwise. It's a cage. A gilded, comfortable cage, but a cage nonetheless. And if I refuse, then I'll have Rosa pack you some supplies and drive you to the nearest bus station. You'll be on your own. And Marcus will find you within 48 hours. He pauses. How long do you think you'd last, Miss Montes? How long before he tracks you down? Before he takes those little girls and uses them as leverage to get back what you stole? The images flash through Caprice's mind. The spreadsheets, the shipping containers, the prices listed next to ages and descriptions. Eva and Ava, listed on one of those spreadsheets. Her hands curl into fists. I'll stay, she says. Good. Leonardo stands, moving around the desk with predatory grace. He's tall. She hadn't realized how tall when he was sitting. At least 6'2", broad-shouldered, moving with the controlled power of someone who knows exactly what his body can do. Then we have an agreement. Your information for my protection. Equal exchange. He extends his hand. Caprice stands and takes it. His grip is warm, firm, and sends an unexpected jolt through her system. She hasn't been touched with anything but violence or control in so long that simple physical contact feels foreign. There's one more thing, Leonardo says, not releasing her hand. Your daughters. They'll need structure, routine. Rosa can help with that, but ultimately, they're your responsibility. I won't have screaming children disrupting my household. They're 4 years old, Caprice says defensively. They cry sometimes. They have nightmares. They're traumatized. Then comfort them, quietly. His tone brooks no argument. This house has protocols, Miss Montes. Everyone follows them, including you and your children. The anger that flares in Caprice's chest is sudden and hot. They're not soldiers to be commanded. They're babies who've just been ripped away from everything they know. And they're alive because of it, Leonardo interrupts, his voice hardening. Because you were smart enough to run, smart enough to choose survival over pride. Don't waste that choice by coddling them into weakness. He releases her hand and walks back to his desk, effectively dismissing her. Caprice stands there, trembling with fury and exhaustion and fear. She wants to scream at him, wants to tell him exactly what she thinks of his cold, clinical approach to children who've done nothing wrong except be born to the wrong parents. But she doesn't. Because he's right. She chose survival, and survival means playing by his rules. For now. Good night. Mr. Moore, she says stiffly. Leonardo, he corrects, not looking up from his tablet. If you're going to live in my house, you'll use my name. Good night, Leonardo. She walks out before he can say anything else. Her vision blurring with angry tears she refuses to let fall until she's safely behind the closed door of the guest room. Rosa is gone. Eva and Ava sleep peacefully in the enormous bed, their teddy bears clutched tight. Caprice climbs in beside them, careful not to wake them, and finally lets the tears come. She's safe. They're safe. But she's traded one controlling man for another, and she has no idea what Leonardo Moore will demand as payment when the time comes. The first week passes in a blur of enforced domesticity and simmering tension. Caprice establishes a routine for Eva and Ava: breakfast at 8. Lessons in the morning, basic reading and math, that she improvises with materials. Rosa provides. Lunch at noon, quiet time in the afternoon, dinner at 6, bath at 7:30, bed by 8:30. It's structured and predictable, exactly what traumatized children need. Leonardo is barely present. He leaves early most mornings, returns late most nights. When Caprice does see him, it's in passing a glimpse of him in his office through the open door, always on the phone or reviewing documents, always working. She learns his routine by observation. Coffee at 6 a.m., black, no sugar. He runs 5 miles every morning on the property, regardless of weather. He speaks at least 4 languages fluently: Italian, Spanish, English, and something that sounds like Russian. He never raises his voice, never loses control, never shows emotion beyond carefully calibrated interest or displeasure. He's a machine dressed in expensive suits. But there are cracks in the facade. On the 4th night, Caprice wakes to screaming. Not her daughters, they're sleeping peacefully. The sound is coming from down the hall. She slips out of bed and into the hallway, her heart pounding. The screaming stops as abruptly as it started, replaced by harsh, ragged breathing. Leonardo's bedroom door is cracked open. Through the gap, she can see him sitting on the edge of his bed, head in his hands, shoulders heaving. A nightmare. The untouchable Leonardo Moore has nightmares. Caprice should go back to her room, should give him privacy, should pretend she never saw this moment of vulnerability. Instead, she knocks softly. The breathing stops. "Go away, Rosa." "It's not Rosa," Caprice says quietly. "I heard. Are you all right?" A long silence. Then, "I'm fine. Go back to bed." But his voice is rough, strained. Not fine at all. Caprice pushes the door open wider. Leonardo's room is Spartan dark furniture, minimal decoration, blackout curtains. He's wearing only pajama pants, his torso bare, and she can see scars, lots of them. A puckered circle on his shoulder bullet wound, long thin lines across his ribs knife, a burn mark on his lower back. This is a man who's been hurt, badly, repeatedly. "I have nightmares too," Caprice says, taking a step into the room. "About Marcus, about what he'll do if he finds us, about those girls in the photographs." She swallows. "You're not alone in that." Leonardo looks up at her, and for the first time, his carefully maintained mask slips. His eyes are haunted, raw. "You should go." "Probably," Caprice agrees. "But I'm not going to." She sits down on the chair near his bed, maintaining distance, not presuming intimacy, but offering presence. Companionship. The basic human connection of not being alone with demons. "Do you want to talk about it?" she asks. "No." "Okay." They sit in silence. Caprice doesn't push, doesn't pry, just sits. After several minutes, Leonardo speaks. "My sister. The nightmare is always about my sister. What happened to her? Traffickers, 12 years ago. She was 16. His voice is completely flat, emptied of emotion. "They took her from a mall parking lot. By the time I found her, 6 months later, she was." He stops, swallows. "She wasn't the same person anymore." Caprice's breath catches. "Leonardo, she killed herself 3 months after I brought her home." He continues, still in that terrible, empty voice. "Pills. She left a note saying she couldn't live with what they'd done to her, couldn't live with the memories." "I'm so sorry," Caprice whispers. "Her name was Juliana. She wanted to be a teacher." He finally looks at Caprice, and there's so much pain in his eyes it's almost unbearable. "She loved children. Wanted to work in an elementary school. Just like you." Understanding crashes over Caprice like a wave. "That's why you brought us here. Eva and Ava. Reminded me of who Juliana could have been. Should have been." Leonardo runs a hand through his hair, a rare gesture of agitation. "When I saw them in my car 4 years old, terrified, dependent on a mother desperate enough to break into a stranger's vehicle, I saw Juliana. I saw every victim I've failed to save, and I couldn't—" His voice breaks. "I couldn't drive away." The revelation recontextualizes everything. His coldness isn't cruelty, it's armor. His control isn't domination, it's survival. His insistence on protecting her and the twins isn't transactional, it's penance. Caprice stands and moves to sit beside him on the bed, close but not touching. "You're saving us," she says quietly. "That's what you're doing. You're giving Eva and Ava the chance Juliana didn't get. That matters, Leonardo. That means something." He looks at her, and for a moment, the armor falls away completely. She sees the man underneath, wounded, grieving, trying desperately to make meaning from tragedy. "Does it?" he asks. And he sounds so young, so lost. "Yes," Caprice says firmly. "Yes, it does." She reaches out and takes his hand. His fingers are cold. She holds on tighter, trying to transfer warmth, trying to anchor him. They sit like that until the trembling in his hands subsides, until his breathing evens out, until the ghosts recede enough for him to function again. "Thank you," Leonardo finally says, his voice rough. "You're keeping us alive," Caprice replies. "The least I can do is sit with you through a nightmare." He looks at their joined hands, then back at her face. Something shifts in his expression. Recognition, maybe. Connection. "You should rest. The girls will be awake early." It's a dismissal, but a gentle one. Caprice stands, but before she can leave, Leonardo speaks again. "Caprice." She turns back. "My sister would have liked you," he says quietly. "You have the same stubbornness, the same refusal to give up." It's the first real compliment he's given her. It settles around her shoulders like a blanket. "Good night, Leonardo." "Good night." Caprice returns to her room and climbs back into bed with her daughters. But she doesn't sleep for a long time, thinking about trauma and survival and the unexpected humanity in a man who presents himself as inhuman. They're more alike than she realized. Both running from demons. both trying to protect something precious, both terrified of failing. On the 10th day, everything changes. Caprice is in the library with Eva and Ava, reading them a picture book about a brave little mouse, when Rosa appears in the doorway. "Leonardo needs to see you," Rosa says, her expression grave. "Now. The girls can stay with me." Caprice's stomach drops. What happened? "Just go." Caprice kisses both twins and hurries to Leonardo's office. He's standing at the window, hands clasped behind his back, shoulders tight with tension. "Marcus made a move," Leonardo says without turning around. "He's no longer just searching. He's escalating. He's put a contract out." "A contract?" Leonardo turns to face her, and his expression is stone. $50,000 for information leading to your location. $100,000 for delivery of you and your daughters, dead or alive. The room spins. Caprice grabs the back of a chair to steady herself. "He wants us killed?" "He wants you silenced. The method is secondary." Leonardo moves to his desk and pulls up something on his tablet. The contract went out to every mercenary and bounty hunter in the Midwest. Professional criminals who do this for a living. People with resources and connections I can't easily block. So what do? We make sure they never get close. Leonardo's jaw tightens. But there's a complication. One of the men who took the contract is Viktor Kozlov, Russian, former Spetsnaz, currently works as a high-end tracker for the Bratva. Is he good? He's the best. Leonardo's eyes meet hers. Which means we have maybe 72 hours before he identifies this location and plans an assault. The fear is immediate and visceral. Can we leave? Go somewhere else? Moving is risky. Every transition point is an opportunity for interception. But staying is suicide if Kozlov breaches the perimeter. Leonardo walks around the desk. There's a third option, which is, we eliminate the threat at its source. We take down Marcus Delgado before Kozlov gets here. Caprice stares at him. Take down how? However necessary. Leonardo's expression is cold, final. With your intelligence and my resources, I can dismantle his operation in 48 hours, expose him to law enforcement, freeze his assets, turn his allies against him. By the time Kozlov arrives, there won't be anyone paying the contract. And Marcus will be in federal custody or dead, whichever comes first. It's exactly what Caprice wants. Justice, retribution, safety. So why does it feel like she's signing her soul away? "What do you need from me?" she asks. "Everything. Names, dates, account numbers. Every detail you can remember." Leonardo pulls up a chair. "We work through the night. We build an airtight case, and then we execute." Caprice sits. "Then let's begin." They work for 14 hours straight, breaking only for coffee and bathroom breaks. Leonardo is relentless, pulling details from her memory she didn't know she retained, cross-referencing her information with his own intelligence, building a web of connections that will trap Marcus in his own crimes. By dawn, they have it. A complete dossier, irrefutable evidence, a roadmap to destruction. Leonardo makes 3 phone calls. The first to his contact in the FBI, someone he implies owes him multiple favors. The second to a journalist at the Chicago Tribune known for breaking corruption stories. The third to someone he doesn't name, speaking in rapid Russian, words that sound like threats. "It's done," he says when the last call ends. By noon today, Marcus Delgado will be arrested on multiple federal charges. By evening, his assets will be frozen. By tomorrow, his entire organization will be dismantled. Caprice should feel relieved, victorious. Instead, she feels hollow. "What happens now?" she asks. Leonardo looks at her with an expression she can't quite read. "Now you decide if you want to stay or go." "What?" "The threat is neutralized. You and your daughters are safe. The contract will be void once Marcus is arrested. You don't need my protection anymore." He pauses, "Which means you don't need to stay." The words hit like a physical blow. He's releasing her, setting her free. She should be grateful. Should be planning her exit, her return to normal life, her escape from this gilded cage. Instead, all she can think about is Leonardo sitting on the edge of his bed, haunted by nightmares of a sister he couldn't save, about the way he watches Eva and Ava with barely concealed tenderness when he thinks no one is looking, about the strange, unexpected partnership they've built in the space between crisis and survival. "What if I don't want to go?" Caprice hears herself say. Leonardo goes very still. "What? What if I want to stay? Not because I'm afraid, not because I need protection, but because..." She stops, searching for the right words. "Because I think you need us as much as we need you." Leonardo stares at her for a long moment. Then, quietly, "You should go, take your daughters and build a normal life. Away from this world, away from me." "Why?" "Because I'm dangerous, Caprice. Because everything I touch gets destroyed. Because you deserve better than..." "Than what?" Caprice challenges, standing up. "Than a man who saved my life? Who gave my daughters safety when no one else would? Who sits up at night making sure we're protected? You don't understand what I am." "I understand perfectly." Caprice moves around the desk, closing the distance between them. "You're a man trying to redeem himself for a sister he couldn't save. You're a man who's built armor so thick he's forgotten what warmth feels like. You're a man who's terrified of caring about anyone because everyone you've cared about has been taken from you." Leonardo's jaw clenches. "Stop." "No." Caprice reaches out and places her hand on his chest, feeling his heart hammer beneath her palm. "You let us in, Leonardo. You opened your home, your protection, your life. You can't take that back just because the immediate danger is over. It doesn't work that way." "I should never have brought you here," he says, but his voice lacks conviction. "But you did. And now we're here. And maybe..." Caprice takes a breath. "Maybe we all need each other. Maybe this isn't about protection or contracts or temporary arrangements anymore. Maybe this is about 3 people who were drowning finding out they can float better together." Leonardo's hand comes up to cover hers on his chest. "Your daughters are safe with you. Safer than they'd be anywhere else. You watch them like they're made of glass. You make sure Rosa reads them stories. You had that nursery prepared before we even arrived, didn't you?" He doesn't deny it. "You care," Caprice says softly. "And you hate that you care. But you do." Leonardo's other hand rises to cup her face, his thumb tracing the line of her cheekbone. "If you stay, there's no going back to normal. My world is dangerous. There are always threats, always enemies, always risk. I know. If you stay, you're mine." The possessiveness is back in his voice, undeniable and absolute. "Under my protection. Part of my household. Subject to my rules." "I know," Caprice repeats. "Then why would you choose this?" "Because normal was never safe. Marcus was normal. This," she gestures around the office, encompassing the security monitors, the weapons, the evidence of Leonardo's violent world. "This is honest. You've never lied to me about what you are. You've never pretended to be something you're not. That's worth more than safety. That's worth staying for." Leonardo searches her face, looking for doubt or deception. Finding neither, he makes a sound low in his throat, defeat or surrender or acceptance, and pulls her against him. The kiss is not gentle. It's claiming, possessive, fierce. It tastes like coffee and danger, and the desperate relief of 2 people who've been alone too long, finding connection in the least expected place. When they finally break apart, both breathing hard, Leonardo rests his forehead against hers. "You're insane," he murmurs. "Probably," Caprice agrees. "And stubborn. Definitely. And exactly what I need." His arms tighten around her. "Stay. You and your daughters. Stay here. Be mine. Let me protect you. Let me..." His voice catches. "Let me try to be better than I am." "You're already better than you think," Caprice says. "You just need someone to remind you." He kisses her again, softer this time. And when he pulls back, there's something new in his eyes. Something that looks like hope. "Then it's settled," Leonardo says. "You're part of this household now. Permanently." "Permanently? I don't do temporary, Caprice." He tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. "When I claim something, I keep it." Fair warning. The possessiveness should bother her, should feel like another cage. Instead, it feels like safety, like belonging, like home. "Fair warning received," Caprice says. "But I have conditions." "Of course you do." Leonardo's mouth quirks in something almost like amusement. "Eva and Ava get to be children. Normal children. Not soldiers or security risks or problems to be managed. They get to play and laugh and have childhoods." "Agreed. And I'm not just some decoration or protected asset. If I'm staying, I'm contributing. I want to work. Teach, maybe. Or help with..." She gestures vaguely at the monitors. "Whatever this is. Intelligence, strategy, something useful." Leonardo considers this. "You have a gift for analysis, for seeing patterns. I could use someone like that." He pauses. "Someone I trust. Trust. From a man who trusts no one. It's a gift more precious than protection. Then we have a deal, Caprice says. Leonardo extends his hand, formal and serious. Partners. Caprice takes it. Partners. But when he pulls her close again, kissing her with an intensity that makes her knees weak, it's clear that partners is only the beginning of what they're becoming. Somewhere in the house, she can hear Eva and Ava laughing. Safe, happy, home. They found each other in crisis, in desperation, in the back of a limousine in the rain. And somehow, impossibly, they're building something that looks like family. 3 weeks after Marcus Delgado's arrest, Caprice stands in Leonardo's office, reviewing security footage when she sees it. A black sedan, unmarked, circling the block for the 3rd time in an hour. Leonardo, she says quietly, not taking her eyes off the monitor. He's at his desk, on a conference call with his attorneys about the Delgado case. The federal charges are sticking: trafficking, racketeering, money laundering. Marcus is being held without bail. It should be over. But Caprice has learned that nothing is ever really over in Leonardo's world. Leonardo glances at the screen she's indicating. His expression doesn't change, but she sees the subtle shift in his posture. Alert. Ready. He ends the call with a curt, "I'll call you back." "Rosa," he speaks into the intercom. "Take the girls to the safe room. Code Amber. Now." Within seconds, Caprice hears Rosa's calm voice down the hall, turning the move into a game for Eva and Ava. "Come, little ones. Let's play hide-and-seek in the special room." The twins' delighted laughter fades as Rosa ushers them to the reinforced panic room in the basement, a space Caprice prayed they'd never actually need to use. Leonardo pulls up additional camera angles. The sedan has stopped 2 blocks away. 3 men exit. They're dressed casually, jeans, jackets, but they move with military precision. Professionals. "Kozlov," Leonardo says, his voice flat. "He took the contract after all. But Marcus is in custody. The contract is void. Not to someone like Kozlov. He views contracts as binding regardless of the employer's status. A matter of professional pride." Leonardo opens the weapons case, moving with practiced efficiency. He's here to finish the job. Probably considers it a personal challenge now that Marcus can't pay. Fear lances through Caprice's chest. "What do we do?" "You go to the safe room with your daughters. I handle this." Leonardo. "This isn't negotiable." He loads a magazine into a Glock with smooth mechanical movements. "Kozlov is the best at what he does. This is going to get violent. Then you need backup. Call your men." "Already did. They're 10 minutes out. But Kozlov knows that. He's planned his approach for this exact window." Leonardo checks a second weapon, then looks at Caprice. His eyes are hard, focused, but underneath she sees something else. Fear. Not for himself, for her. "Please, Caprice. Go to the safe room. Let me do what I'm trained to do." Every instinct screams at Caprice to argue, to stay, to help somehow. But Eva and Ava are in that safe room. They need their mother. "Don't you dare die," Caprice says fiercely. She crosses to him, grabs his face, and kisses him hard. "You promised to protect us. You can't do that if you're dead." "I don't break promises," Leonardo says against her mouth. Then, more gently, "Go." Caprice runs. She reaches the safe room, a reinforced steel door hidden behind a false bookshelf in the library, and punches in the code. The mechanism releases with a heavy clunk. Inside, Rosa has already set up the space. Emergency supplies, communications, equipment, weapons, locked in a separate cabinet. Eva and Ava are playing with stuffed animals in the corner, unaware of the danger bearing down on them. "He's coming," Caprice says to Rosa. The older woman's expression hardens. Then we wait, and we trust Leonardo. The safe room has monitors displaying the security feeds. Caprice watches Leonardo move through the house with the fluid grace of a predator. He's not hiding. He's hunting. The first breach comes at the east entrance, a window on the 2nd floor. Kozlov's men are fast, silent. They bypass the standard alarm system using military-grade jammers. But Leonardo's security isn't standard. The moment the window opens, a secondary silent alarm triggers. Leonardo is already moving, positioning himself in the hallway with clear sightlines to the intrusion point. The first man through the window doesn't see Leonardo until it's too late. 2 shots pff, 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 from Leonardo's suppressed weapon. The man drops. No hesitation, no mercy, pure efficiency. The second man comes through fast, weapon already raised. He and Leonardo fire simultaneously. Leonardo's shot hits center mass. The intruder's shot goes wide, embedding in the wall. 2 down, but Kozlov himself is still out there. And Kozlov doesn't make mistakes. Caprice watches the monitors, her heart in her throat. Where is he? She whispers. Leonardo will find him, Rosa says with absolute confidence. He always does. But minutes tick by with no sign of Kozlov. No additional breaches. No movement. Leonardo returns to the first floor, checking each room systematically. His movements are controlled but wary. He knows Kozlov is here, but where? Then Caprice sees it. On the monitor showing the front entrance. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, standing at the door, crying. No. Caprice breathes. No, it's a trap. But Leonardo is already moving toward the front entrance, weapon lowered. He's not going to shoot a child. Won't even risk it. The girl pounds on the door. Please, please help. My mom, she's hurt. Leonardo's hand goes to the door handle. Don't, Caprice whispers to the screen. Leonardo, don't. He opens the door. The girl stumbles inside, and Leonardo catches her. Where's your mother? Right here, a male voice says. Kozlov steps out from behind a pillar on the porch. He has a gun to the little girl's actual mother's head, a woman bound and gagged, terror in her eyes. Drop the weapon more, Kozlov says in heavily accented English. Or I kill the woman, then the child. Then I come for yours. Leonardo's face is stone. Caprice can see the calculation in his eyes. The distance, the angle, the probability of success if he takes the shot. But the little girl is standing right in front of him. Any missed shot could hit her. Leonardo sets his weapon on the floor. Good, Kozlov says. Now kick it away. Leonardo complies. Kozlov shoves the woman forward. She stumbles through the doorway, and Leonardo catches her, his hands working quickly to remove her gag. I'm sorry, the woman sobs. He took my daughter from the playground, said he'd kill her if I didn't help. It's not your fault, Leonardo says quietly. Take your daughter and run. Don't look back. The woman grabs her child and flees, which leaves Leonardo unarmed, facing one of the world's most dangerous mercenaries. The Montes woman, Kozlov says conversationally, his weapon now trained on Leonardo's chest. Where is she? Gone. I sent her away days ago. The contract is void anyway, Delgado's in federal custody. Lying, Kozlov says simply. I've been watching. I've seen the woman and the children. They're here. Then you've seen wrong. Kozlov's finger tightens on the trigger. I could shoot you now. Make you watch yourself bleed while I search this house room by room. Or you could tell me where they are, and I'll make it quick. Your choice. In the safe room, Caprice makes a decision. Stay here, she tells Rosa. Keep the girls safe. Caprice. No. But Caprice is already at the weapons cabinet. Her hands are shaking as she enters the code Leonardo taught her. Inside are 3 handguns and a shotgun. She takes the shotgun. It's heavy, unfamiliar. But she's seen Leonardo use it on the firing range he has on the property. Point and shoot. Simple. If I don't come back, Caprice says to Rosa. There's a lawyer's name in Leonardo's desk. Antonio Russo. He has instructions for the girls. Promise me you'll find him. Caprice. Promise me. I promise, Rosa says, tears streaming down her face. Caprice kisses Eva and Ava still playing, still unaware, and slips out of the safe room. She moves through the house using the paths Leonardo taught her, the ones with minimal visibility from the front entrance. Her heart is hammering so hard she can barely hear. She's a kindergarten teacher. She paints with finger paints and sings songs about sharing. She's not a soldier, not a killer, but she's a mother, and her family is in danger. She reaches the second-floor landing, overlooking the entrance hall. From here, she has a clear view of Kozlov still holding his gun on Leonardo, still demanding answers. Leonardo sees her. She watches his eyes flick up for just a fraction of a second. Recognition. Horror. A silent command. No, get back. But it's too late. Caprice raises the shotgun, bracing it against her shoulder the way Leonardo taught her. Let him go. Her voice is shaking. Her hands are shaking. Everything is shaking. But the shotgun is pointed at Kozlov's back. Kozlov doesn't turn. The mother. How sentimental. Come down here, Mrs. Delgado. Nice and slow. It's Montes, Caprice says. I never took his name. Come down, or I shoot your boyfriend. You'll shoot him anyway, Caprice says. The moment you have what you want. I know how this works. Smart woman. Kozlov sounds almost amused. But not smart enough. You're holding that shotgun wrong. The recoil will knock you flat. And I'll have plenty of time to kill Mr. Moore here before you can fire again. He's right. Caprice knows he's right, but she doesn't lower the weapon. Here's a better deal, Caprice says, her mind racing. You let Leonardo go. You take me. You get your contract fulfilled. And the infamous Leonardo Moore gets to live with the knowledge that he failed to protect someone under his roof. Isn't that worse than death for a man like him? Caprice, no, Leonardo starts. Shut up, Kozlov snaps. To Caprice, you'd sacrifice yourself? For him? For my daughters, Caprice corrects. They need one of us alive. Better it's him. He can protect them. I can't. She can see Leonardo's face. The fury. The anguish. He's calculating angles, probabilities, trying to figure out how to stop this. Interesting, Kozlov muses. A mother's love. Very powerful motivator. He pauses. But I have a better idea. Come down here, Mrs. Montes. Slowly, and I'll let you say goodbye to your daughters before I complete the contract. It's a lie. Obviously a lie. But Caprice starts moving anyway, because every second she keeps Kozlov talking is another second closer to Leonardo's backup arriving. She descends the stairs, shotgun still raised but knowing it's essentially useless. Kozlov is a professional. He's done this 1,000 times. She's a kindergarten teacher who's fired a gun exactly 3 times on a private range. She reaches the bottom of the stairs. Drop the weapon, Kozlov orders. Caprice sets it on the floor. Kick it away. She does. Now come here. Caprice walks toward Kozlov, each step an act of will. She can see Leonardo's hands clenching and unclenching. He's going to do something desperate, something that will get him killed. Leonardo, Caprice says quietly, take care of them, please. I'm not letting you do this, Leonardo says through gritted teeth. You don't have a choice. Caprice is 3 feet from Kozlov when it happens. The front door explodes inward, not from another attack. From Leonardo's men, his backup, arriving exactly on time. 4 armed operatives in full tactical gear flood the entrance hall. Kozlov's attention splinters for a fraction of a second. It's enough. Leonardo moves with inhuman speed, diving for his discarded weapon. Kozlov swings his gun toward Leonardo. Caprice, on pure instinct, lunges at Kozlov's gun arm. She's not strong enough to move it, not nearly strong enough, but she moves it just enough. Kozlov's shot goes wide, hitting the wall 6 inches from Leonardo's head. Leonardo rolls, comes up with his weapon, and fires 3 times in rapid succession. The first shot hits Kozlov's shoulder. The second, his chest. The third, his head. The legendary mercenary drops like a puppet with cut strings. Silence descends, broken only by harsh breathing and the ringing in Caprice's ears from the gunshots. Leonardo's men secure the perimeter, checking the downed intruders, ensuring there are no additional threats. Leonardo drops his weapon and crosses to Caprice in 2 long strides. He pulls her against him so hard it hurts, one hand cradling the back of her head, the other wrapped around her waist like he's trying to physically merge them into one person. Never again, he says against her hair, his voice shaking. Never again do you do something that fucking stupid. Do you understand me? I saved your life, Caprice manages. You almost got yourself killed. So did you. Caprice pulls back enough to look at him. You opened that door for a crying child. You put down your weapon. You were willing to die for a stranger's kid. That's different. It's not different. Tears are streaming down Caprice's face now, adrenaline crash hitting hard. It's not different, and you know it. We both did what we had to do to protect what matters. Leonardo's jaw works. Then he's kissing her, desperate and fierce and alive. She kisses him back with equal intensity, both of them shaking, both of them covered in someone else's blood, both of them so grateful to be breathing they can barely stand. When they finally break apart, Leonardo rests his forehead against hers. If anything had happened to you, but it didn't. Caprice. It didn't, she repeats firmly. We're alive. Eva and Ava are safe. It's over, boss. One of Leonardo's men approaches carefully. Perimeter is secure. No additional hostiles. Local police are en route. We need to get ahead of the story. Leonardo straightens, slipping back into control. Tell them it was a home invasion. 3 armed assailants. We defended ourselves. Call Antonio, have him here before the police arrive. On it. Leonardo turns back to Caprice. Go get your daughters. Bring them upstairs. Rosa can handle the police questioning for the household staff. I need you and the twins out of sight until we know what story is going public. Caprice nods and hurries back to the safe room. When she enters, Eva and Ava look up from their toys. Mama, you're back. Did we win the game? Yes, babies, Caprice says, scooping them both into her arms and holding on tight. We won. Rosa's eyes meet Caprice's over the twins' heads. The older woman nods, acknowledgement, respect, relief. They return upstairs to find the entrance hall already being cleaned by Leonardo's efficient crew. The bodies are gone, the blood being scrubbed away. By the time the police arrive, it will look like nothing more than a tragic but straightforward home defense case. This is Leonardo's world. Controlled, managed, sanitized. Caprice should be horrified, should be questioning what she's gotten herself and her daughters into. Instead, she feels safe. The police investigation takes 3 days. Antonio Russo, Leonardo's attorney, handles everything with smooth efficiency. The story holds. 3 armed men attempted a home invasion at the Moore estate. Mr. Moore and his security team defended the property. All intruders were killed. Tragic but legally justified. The connection to Marcus Delgado never comes up. The Montes family's presence in Leonardo's home never makes it into any report. They're ghosts, protected by Leonardo's money, power, and connections. When it's finally over, when the last detective has left and the last crime scene tech has packed up, Leonardo finds Caprice in the library with Eva and Ava. The twins are asleep on the couch, exhausted from 3 days of being kept quietly out of sight. It's done, Leonardo says quietly. No charges, no media coverage. As far as the world is concerned, nothing happened. 3 men died, Caprice says. 3 men who came here to kill you and your daughters. Leonardo sits beside her, careful not to wake the sleeping twins. I won't apologize for protecting what's mine. I'm not asking you to. Caprice looks at him. But I need to know, is this what our life looks like? Violence showing up at our door? My daughters sleeping through shootouts because they've been trained to hide in a safe room? Yes, Leonardo says simply. This is the reality. I have enemies. Some will try to use you to get to me. Some will try to eliminate you to hurt me. I can minimize the risk, but I can't eliminate it entirely. Caprice expected the answer, but hearing it stated so baldly still sends a chill through her. So what do I do? She asks. How do I give Eva and Ava a normal childhood in the middle of this? You don't, Leonardo says. Not completely normal, but you give them safety, love, stability. You give them the knowledge that they're protected. You give them a home where they don't have to fear the people inside its walls. He pauses. That's more than a lot of children get. It's not enough. It's all I can offer. Leonardo's expression is grave. If that's not acceptable, if you want to leave, take the girls somewhere far away and start over, I'll make it happen. New identities. Financial support. A security detail you'll never see but will always be watching. You'd let us go? Caprice asks, surprised. I'd hate it, Leonardo admits. I'd hate every second of it. But I won't trap you, Caprice. You and your daughters aren't prisoners. If you want out, you're out. It's the most honest thing he's ever said to her. Caprice looks down at Eva and Ava, peaceful in sleep. She thinks about her life before Leonardo, the fear, the isolation, the constant walking on eggshells around Marcus. She thinks about her life now, complicated, dangerous, but fundamentally different. She's not afraid in this house. She's not alone. And Leonardo, this cold, controlled, violent man, looks at her daughters like they're precious, like they matter, like protecting them is worth dying for. That's worth something. That's worth everything. I'm not leaving, Caprice says. Leonardo goes very still. You're sure? No, Caprice admits. I'm terrified. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm not leaving. She reaches for his hand. Eva and Ava need stability. And you. She swallows. You need us. Maybe as much as we need you. I do, Leonardo says quietly. I need you more than is probably wise. Then we stay. We make this work. We figure out how to build something that looks like family in the middle of all this chaos. Leonardo lifts her hand to his lips, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. I'll spend every day trying to be worthy of that choice. You already are, Caprice says. You just don't see it yet. 4 months later, Caprice stands in Leonardo's office reviewing quarterly reports. Yes, she's somehow become his legitimate business analyst in addition to everything else when Eva bursts in. Mama! Leo said he'd teach us the piano. Leo is what the twins have started calling Leonardo. Not Dad too soon for that, and Leonardo never pushes it. Just Leo. Casual, affectionate, safe. Did he now? Caprice tries to keep the smile off her face. And when is this piano lesson happening? Now. Ava appears behind her sister, equally excited. He says we can learn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Leonardo appears in the doorway, looking vaguely uncomfortable. They asked, multiple times. I said I'd show them the basics. The great Leonardo Moore, ruthless businessman and feared criminal, cornered by two 4-year-olds. It's absurdly endearing. Then by all means, Caprice says. Lead the way, maestro. She follows them to the music room, a space she didn't even know existed until today. A beautiful grand piano sits in the center, clearly well-maintained. You play? Caprice asks Leonardo. My mother insisted, he says, almost defensive. She believed everyone should have some culture. He sits at the bench, and Eva and Ava crowd in on either side of him. His large hands dwarf the keys, but he plays a simple scale with surprising delicacy. See? Like this. C, D, E, F, G. The twins try to mimic him, their tiny fingers pressing random keys enthusiastically. Caprice leans against the doorframe and watches this man, this dangerous, complicated, wounded man, patiently teaching her daughter's music. He corrects their finger placement gently, praises their efforts, makes them laugh when he plays a deliberately terrible note. This is family. Strange, unconventional, built from trauma and necessity, but family nonetheless. Mama, come sit with us, Eva calls. Caprice joins them on the bench, squeezing in beside Leonardo. His arm comes around her waist automatically, pulling her close. They're a tangle of limbs and laughter and off-key piano notes. They're home. That night, after the twins are asleep, Caprice finds Leonardo on the terrace overlooking the grounds. He's nursing a glass of scotch, staring out at the perfectly maintained gardens. Penny for your thoughts, Caprice says, sliding under his arm. Thinking about Juliana, Leonardo admits. She would have loved them. Eva and Ava would have been an amazing aunt. She knows, Caprice says quietly. Wherever she is, she knows what you're doing. She knows you're trying. Am I? Leonardo's voice is raw. Trying? Or just recreating what I lost? Both, Caprice says honestly. And that's okay. Healing doesn't have to be pure or selfless. You're giving my daughters the protection your sister never got. You're giving them a future. That matters. Leonardo is quiet for a long moment. Then, marry me. Caprice's breath catches. What? Marry me, Leonardo repeats, turning to face her fully. Not for protection or paperwork or legal convenience. Marry me because I want Eva and Ava to have my name. I want them to know they're mine, to protect forever. I want you to know that this... He gestures between them, encompassing the house, the life they're building. This isn't temporary. This is everything. Tears blur Caprice's vision. Leonardo, I love you, he says, and the words sound like they're being dragged out of him. I love you and your stubborn, fierce, ridiculous courage. I love that you broke into my car and changed everything. I love that you see me, all of me, the violence and the damage, and you stay anyway. I love you too, Caprice whispers. Even though you're controlling and paranoid and way too good at murder. He laughs, the sound surprised and genuine. Is that a yes? That's a yes. Leonardo produces a ring from his pocket, emerald-cut diamond, simple and perfect. I bought this 3 weeks ago. Been carrying it around trying to find the right moment. There's never a right moment with us, Caprice says as he slides the ring onto her finger. Just moments we decide to claim. Then I'm claiming this one. He kisses her under the stars. And Caprice thinks about the terrified woman who climbed into a stranger's car in the rain, who had nothing but 2 sleeping daughters and a phone full of evidence. That woman wouldn't recognize her life now, but that woman didn't know that sometimes the most dangerous choice is the one that saves you. The wedding is small, intimate. Just Rosa, Antonio the lawyer, a handful of Leonardo's most trusted men, and Eva and Ava in matching flower girl dresses. Caprice wears a simple cream dress, not white. Too much history there, and Leonardo wears a black suit that makes him look even more devastating than usual. The ceremony is in the garden, the same garden where Leonardo taught the twins to identify birds, where they have picnics on summer afternoons, where Caprice has learned to see beauty instead of just security fences and surveillance cameras. When the officiant asks if anyone objects, Eva raises her hand. The officiant blinks. Yes, young lady? Does this mean Leo is our daddy now? The question hangs in the air. Leonardo looks stricken, uncertain. For the first time since Caprice has known him. Do you want me to be? He asks the twins seriously. Because that's a big job. Being a dad. It means I protect you and teach you, and love you forever, even when you're being difficult. We're not difficult, Ava says indignantly. You're extremely difficult, Leonardo says, but he's smiling. So, what do you think? Want to give this a try? Both twins nod solemnly. Okay then, Eva says. You can be our daddy. Caprice is openly crying now, and Leonardo's eyes are suspiciously bright. The officiant, looking thoroughly charmed, continues. By the power vested in me and with the apparent approval of the flower girls, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Leonardo kisses Caprice with a tenderness that steals her breath. When they break apart, Eva and Ava are between them, demanding to be picked up. Leonardo scoops up Ava. Caprice lifts Eva. And they stand there, the four of them. A family forged in desperation and sealed in choice. 6 months after the wedding, Marcus Delgado is convicted on 17 federal counts. He's sentenced to 45 years in a maximum security prison. Caprice doesn't attend the sentencing. She's at home, in the nursery suite that's been converted into a playroom, helping Eva and Ava build an elaborate fortress out of blocks. Leonardo brings her the news. It's over, he says. Officially over. Caprice nods. She thought she'd feel more relief, vindication, triumph. Instead, she just feels tired. Good. The prosecutor said your evidence was crucial. Wants to thank you personally. Tell them no thanks necessary. Caprice places another block on the tower. I did it for my daughters, not for justice or revenge, just for them. Leonardo crouches beside her, running a hand through Eva's curls. They're going to have questions eventually. About their biological father. About where he is. I know. Caprice has thought about this. Lost sleep over it. We'll tell them the truth. Age-appropriate versions. But the truth. That their birth father made bad choices. That he hurt people. That we had to leave to stay safe. And that their real father, Leonardo's voice catches slightly, is the one who chose them. Who chose to love them. Exactly, Caprice says softly. Ava looks up from her block tower. Daddy, can we get a dog? It's the first time she's called him that without prompting. Daddy. Simple. Natural. Right. Leonardo's expression melts. We'll talk about it. That means yes, Eva shrieks. Mama, that means yes. The twins dissolve into excited chaos, and Leonardo catches Caprice's eye over their heads. The look he gives her is pure contentment, gratitude, love. They didn't choose each other in any traditional sense. They collided in crisis, bound together by desperation and necessity. But every day since, they've chosen to stay, to build, to become something neither of them expected. Caprice thinks about the woman she was terrified, running through the rain with nothing but her children and hope. That woman would be amazed by this life, this man, this family. That woman would never believe that breaking into a stranger's car would lead to everything she never knew she needed. But here she is, home, safe, loved, with a husband who watches over them like a guard dog, with daughters who call him daddy and mean it, with a future that's complicated and dangerous and absolutely, undeniably theirs. I love you, Caprice says to Leonardo over the twins' excited chatter about dog breeds. I love you too, he replies. All three of you. More than anything. Outside, security cameras monitor the perimeter. Armed guards patrol the grounds. The world remains dangerous and unpredictable. But inside these walls, there's laughter. There's music. There's a family that chose each other and refuses to let go. And that, Caprice thinks as Eva and Ava drag their father toward the piano for an impromptu concert, is its own kind of perfect. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hits the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.